In this video, I wanted to briefly talk about my biggest takeaway and what no one really told me about or warned me about with your first night home with a new baby, and just kind of touch on my experience, check in with Janelle, and see if there's any similarities or sort of what her experience was like. What is your biggest takeaway from the first day slash night home with her?
I would say, honestly, how easy and calm it was for me. Honey.
The first thing that struck me after arriving home was getting out of the car. I was immediately hit by this feeling of, leading up to I guess, really the entirety of the pregnancy, but leading up to delivery into labor, I kind of just sort of assumed that the baby would grab all the attention early in terms of, here's this helpless newborn baby that needs all of this, care and attention and all eyes on it. And that is true, but especially in that first night, in really first 36, 48 hours, it was Janelle that needed the constant care and attention. And that immediately just kind of upended my expectations. So, for example, we get home, I realize, okay, her trying to get out of the car, me helping her out of the car. I need to bring the baby up first, because we have no one there. Bringing the baby up in her car seat, set her down, come back downstairs. And then I was really hit with it, which was, here's this woman that has just had essentially a major surgery. She had a natural birth, no C-section, but no medication, no anesthesia, no epidural. And because we chose to deliver our baby at a birthing center, it's not like a hospital where you sometimes can stay an extra night or two, for observation or whatever. So at 8:44 a.m., our daughter was born, and by like 1:30, quarter or 2 in the afternoon that same day, we were home. So it kind of hit me that, oh wow, this person's, in a diaper, just feels like they got hit by a bus emotionally, physically, is actively bleeding, and could barely go up a flight of stairs, of which to get to our bedroom, you have to go up two. So that was part one. Part two that no one really told me about was, and I don't necessarily expect people to warn you because it's not a bad thing, at least my experience. But the big takeaway for me ultimately was it was very quiet and peaceful. I think when you go through labor, whether you're the birthing parent, which I can't even imagine what that's like, or the non-birthing parent, such as myself, there's this sort of accumulated exhaustion that you're not necessarily aware of. And, Janelle started laboring Saturday, I want to say Saturday morning. By Saturday night at like 11:30, we were going to the birthing center, or we had just arrived or left for it. I can't even remember at this point. And, like I said, at 8:44 the next morning was when she was finally delivered. And it just felt like once we got home, like I said, it was around 2 in the afternoon that same day. Once we got home, there was this peace, there was this quiet and this calm. To give you an example, we chose to go to bed around 4:30 in the afternoon that day. We got upstairs, went to bed. Baby had been sleeping the entirety of being home with us so far, a few hours. And I fell asleep, in bed intentionally at 4:30. I think it was around 8:30. I woke up. I had to pee. I rolled over, and Janelle was up, or I just had come back from the bathroom. I can't remember. And I essentially said to her, like, hey, trying to be cute, you remember yesterday when we had a baby? And she looked at me and she goes, that was today. And to me, that summed up the entire experience of just arriving home, which is this feeling that for every hour that transpired during labor, feeling like a day, but then also this, at the same time, this feeling that time stood still. So that was kind of my biggest, I don't want to say new experience through the experience, but growing up and just having a bunch of, a handful of very close friends start families and have multiple children, like they kind of always gravitated toward the same shared experiences of, well, wait till labor starts, or, friends telling me like I had morning sickness every day for 9 months, and, you know, guys guys telling me like, oh, wait till you see what comes out of her, stuff like that. And no one really said like, hey, when you get home, it is going to be the quietest, most peaceful thing that maybe you've ever experienced. And I think what helped us with that too is we didn't have visitors for a couple of days. We didn't have visitors at the birthing center for as far as family and connection. It was just me. And Janelle's parents didn't stop by till like, I want to say almost 3 days later, somewhere thereabouts, which was intentional because we just wanted to be home and kind of be in it. So I thought I'd share that because I've been writing a lot of this stuff down, but I didn't want to lose it. And it was one of those things that, I feel like there's no shortage of people that are going to tell you how painful something was, how awful something was, you know, but it was really this very subtle, quiet, peaceful. I keep coming back to the peace. And ever since we have come home with her, I haven't slept better, which definitely don't tell Janelle, probably pisses her off, but I just have this calm and this peace, like when the three of us are together. So, all right, that's it for today. I'm going to, at some point, either have already shown you or will show you, I'm going to ask Janelle the same question because I'm curious exactly what her big takeaway was.
I didn't expect her to sleep so much. And I didn't realize how startling that could be. And it wasn't startling until people said, well, if she's really lethargic, like that could be a problem. And that's what was startling those first few days, was just how sleepy she really was. But now looking back, it just seemed very normal.
As I'm editing this, you just came downstairs and told me you forgot something. What was it?
Because I was thinking about her and the experience with her, but I wasn't thinking about myself and the pain I was in afterwards. I wasn't prepared for that. Like I couldn't even walk 10 feet to the bathroom without help from you, And none of my friends warned me about that. I knew childbirth was going to be painful. I knew I'd have bleeding afterwards, and that would be a thing. But I wasn't prepared to really not be able to move much for like almost a week, I'd say. It was the pain, yeah. No, none of my other friends said that they, were unable to do much afterwards. It seemed like they were kind of able to just get back to life for the most part, besides the bleeding. And that was not the case for me. Not tense.
So your main takeaway was just laziness.
Ugh, so rude. You had to help me so much. And God bless, you're a good man.